onto the inside of the pack. So how I pack the inside, it's a Dyneema pack, so in theory it's waterproof, but I had a couple different ways that I wanted to ensure everything in there stayed dry. So my first layer was always my food bag. Things that I ate on trail, but in my food bag I kept my stove kit, my dry soap container, random spices, my spoon, and here's an example of some of my homemade meals. What I did is I had some vegetable ramen. I had some additional dehydrated vegetables. I had these Buddy Fruits squeezies. These are a little larger than kids squeezies, but they're not the full-blown, really expensive REI ones. So they work really well. Powdered peanut butter, meal to go, which would have been my breakfast. And then as well, and I had the Bear Bag Hang Kit. So as far as like these ramen meals would go, I would take my my dehydrated backpacking meal. I would save these. The Mountain House ones have a good zipper and they're really big. I would save one from the night before, and the next day I would just cook my ramen and veggies in it, so I didn't have to have an additional bag to cook and heat my ramen up. As far as like in my little spice bag here, I had some Via coffees, which I didn't use till the second half of the trip, but again, super happy I did. I had some soy sauce and a few sticks of gum in there. In my cook kit, I had another personal towel in here. I'm not sure that I really needed it, but it was kind of nice to have a towel that if I wiped out my food, it's not a personal towel, I wouldn't have to go wash it at a creek before I can use it as a personal towel. So I like the concept. It doesn't need to be this bulky, but I have what's called hot lips, and then what that does is it attaches to the side of your cook pot and keeps you from burning your lips if you're drinking coffee, which is kind of cool. Snow Peak makes that. I had just a little generic gas station jet lighter. Works great. Never have an issue, and I don't need to get an expensive lighter. I have a Snow Peak titanium folding stove. Again, I've had this one forever. I know there's a lot of great stoves out there on Amazon that probably could replace that now. My fuel. The other nice thing about having a towel in there is none of the stuff rattles around in there when it's all put together. And then my 750 milliliter cook pot. One thing that's interesting about this particular cook pot is it didn't come with any measuring lines to know how much you put in there. So what I did is I just took a knife and I kind of scribed lines in there when I added some added different measurements, so I knew what a cup was and what 2 cups was. So that was it. Next to my pack, I had a Ziploc bag full of the everything else. I also had some gloves. A lot of little stuff. I had a separate bag for my electronics. That's mainly just to give me peace of mind if it got really wet. I had to pull these out in the rain. I had a 21,000 amp hour Anchor battery, an Anchor quick charger. This has got USB micro and 2 USB ports, so I could charge multiple things at the same time. I got a bunch of short cords off Amazon just to avoid having to tangle cords, and then my Sunto watch cord. So as far as this goes, this all worked really good for me. As a matter of fact, this is just a really generic portable battery. The reason I took this was in case any of my devices started to die while on trail, I didn't have to get my Anchor out. I can kind of just rubber band that device to this with a short cord and get it charged actually while I'm hiking, which I did do a couple times. But in hindsight, I would probably, the Anchor battery lasted a long time. I would probably ditch this and just get longer cords and reach them out of my backpack into the device that I need to have charged. I took a little bit of, Sportsman soap. It's super concentrated. I just had a tiny little bit in there. And I'm glad I did take it because when I took my overnight stay at Brushy Creek Lodge, I needed to wash all my clothes out. and they didn't really have any decent soap there. I would have had to use shampoo or something like that. And this ended up getting my clothes really clean. So that worked out. I had a really full bottle of Advil, which I think I used most of it. I actually have my Garmin in here. This should have been attached to my pack, but this is my Garmin Mini, InReach Mini, which worked good until I had a rainy day and it stopped working on me. Now it's working again. I had 3 AAA batteries as backup to my for my headlamp. My headlamp, Coast headlamp, is rechargeable, and I only needed to recharge it during my stay at Brushy Creek. I never needed to charge it any other time. I wasn't doing a lot of night hiking, but I was planning on it, and that's why I took the Coast headlamp, because it's very, very bright. My repair kit and first aid kit are all in one little tiny Ziploc bag. Toothbrush. Had just a little travel toothbrush. This is something I carried in my hip belt during the warm days. This is Ben's insect repellent, DEET. Always keep it in a separate bag, because if it leaks, it will wreck a lot of your plastics. I carried another contacts case with, this has the aqua tabs in it, so both the purification and taste tabs in it, in case my filter died on trail. I just didn't want to be left without an option. And these are kind of interesting. These are News Optics glasses. They're just little reading glasses. They clip onto your nose. They're actually really comfortable. You know, these are kind of, I guess, part of my safety kit in case I had to do a repair or something where I needed to really, really see some small stuff. I wear reading glasses, so these are my backup. I did use these once and they worked well, so that's kind of like the random bag. My gloves that I carried were just some Mountain Hardwear micro fleece gloves. One thing I did do is I brought 2 latex gloves, and I would keep them inside. So when I did any rain hiking, I could put these on, then stretch the latex gloves over the top to keep the rain out. And that worked well on my rainy day as well. Onto the sleep system. So to keep my sleep system dry inside the pack, I had another dry bag in here. It's something that I already had. So it wasn't like I chose this one for any particular reason. But this is an X-Ped. It's actually for inflating air mattresses, so I could actually compress this from either end if I needed to get some air out of it. So it made sure it kept everything dry. And I got plenty soaked out there, and it did work. Everything in that pack stayed dry between the food bag, the random bag, and other stuff. So this is kind of cool, because first thing I would pull out would be the hammock, which includes the underquilt and all my sleep clothes in it, so I know that they're all good to go. This is a Hennessy asymmetric ultralight zip. It's an Explorer ultralight, so it can handle up to 250 pounds. That's why I have it. I'm not exactly a light guy. Inside I would have my hammock gear, 40-degree quilt. Worked super awesome. And then my camp clothes, I would have my puffy, pillow mode, beanie in case I needed it. I needed it a couple times. I had another pair of bright socks, and you know, if my other pair failed, that these would have to be my backups. I had a set of Mountain Hardwear. I had a Sea to Summit pillow. I'm a fan of taking pillows. I always sleep better with pillows. But in this particular instance, with the hammock, I felt like the pillow was too much. It was, pushing my neck up, and I wasn't getting good sleep. When I switched to using my puffy for a pillow, it worked much better. So I would definitely ditch the pillow for hammock camping next time. And then this shirt that I got from Amazon, it's Zevin. It's a merino wool hooded base layer. And it took me a long time to find something like that. And the reason I like that is I could use it as a base layer for hiking, but as it's hooded, if I get cold in the middle of the night, I could just flip the hood up, and it would be it would replace a beanie. I've slept in a beanie a lot when I've camped, and I tell you, it works. But that particular shirt worked really, really well at night. Last thing in the bag is my hammock gear 30-degree underquilt. This thing worked awesome, no complaints. As a user error one night, I put my clothes in the underquilt, between my hammock and the underquilt to dry, thinking that the warmness will dry them just like being in the hammock with me without actually having to roll around with them. But the weight of those actually caused the underquilt to droop a little bit and created a spot where the wind could get through. And I slept with a cold butt one night until I realized that my clothes were causing that. So other than the user error, that was great. So on this trip, I was shooting for a 15-pound base weight and about 10 pounds of food with a 6-day carry. So that's what I was shooting for. And I ended up with about a pound over that for my base weight, about 16 pounds, which wasn't bad. But looking at the gear that I used and didn't use, if I had left the umbrella, the 2-liter Evernew reservoir, my seat stomach pillow, and this additional charging brick at home, I would have been right at 15 pounds and made my base weight goal. Everything else worked really good, and yeah, I'm looking forward to my next trip. Hey guys, if you like what you see today, please give us a like, comment, or follow, and we'll keep putting out that content.